Hello and welcome to WWJPS. I am your host, Vanessa Pinto. This channel is not an investigative journalism channel. I give my own thoughts. I'm not a journalist. I'm in law school. I am the daughter of an immigrant. I have an opinion about what's going on in this country right now, particularly in this state. And I did some videos regarding the governor's race that now I need to once again not walk back. Well, yeah, walk back. Xavier Becerra may not be the best candidate. And I'm saying this now because I don't want another Swalwell issue. While Swalwell is a pervert, and a rapist, allegedly, we may have some other issues with Becerra that are actually a bit more disturbing. Under Becerra's watch, apparently California lost 85,000 children. They were suddenly unaccompanied minors.
Gone missing, unaccompanied minors who've gone missing under your watch. So you've said repeatedly,
Congresswoman, let me repeat again. No child has gone missing under our watch.
It's my time.
No child has gone missing under our watch. Just to correct.
No children have gone missing on your watch?
Under our watch, no child has gone missing.
So you know where all those 85,000 kids are?
Those children that are in our custody, we know where they are.
The ones that are in your custody. Okay, you keep repeating that. So
it's hard for me to track people I don't have custody over.
This is my time, Mr. Secretary. This is critical of the Trump administration. Roughly 1 in 3 calls made to release migrant kids and their sponsors went unanswered, raising questions about the government's ability to protect minors after they're released to family members or others in the U.S. Mark Greenberg, who oversaw the unaccompanied minors program during the Obama administration.
Now, the reason this is such a huge concern is because right now, with all of the DHS kidnappings, children are once again becoming unaccompanied by numbers that are so rapidly escalating. I no longer feel comfortable having a candidate that could possibly be along the Clinton, Epstein, trafficking kid business. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it now. This is a business. It happens. Our government's been doing it. And where the hell are these 85,000 kids? I mean, essentially, if he's not in on it, what's happening? But why are so many kids unaccompanied? And why is it under his watch? He does deny it, and this is alleged. And I know I have been a little confused, but ultimately, this is concerning because this is happening on a rate that is escalating. And now I'm worried that California will have a worse problem.
From an HHS official that shows that 13,061 unaccompanied minors have actually been located under the Trump administration. And ICE, we're learning, is also arresting some of the sponsors. 442 sponsors have been arrested for involvement in suspected child abuse or other crimes are being discovered. Now, the abuse is being determined through a multifaceted investigation if they
and the unaccompanied children program. They say the department lost track of thousands of migrant children, some of whom have been trafficked, abused, and forced to work. Emma from the Fact Check team joins us now. Let's start with the figures first, Emma. How many migrant children are missing, and how do these whistleblowers come up with this number?
Yeah, so they're referring to reporting done by the New York Times, who found 85,000 migrant children replaced with sponsors here in the U.S. and have since been unaccounted for. Now, what the whistleblowers mean by unaccounted for.
And what that means, because I saw videos, think about it. They're with a stranger, an adult stranger, a child, for a certain amount of time. And even if they did get them back, God only knows what happened to that kid in that amount of time. And is someone making money off of it? How is this still happening?
Is DHS's Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR, never got a hold of the sponsor who took in the migrant child. The ORR is supposed to follow up with safety and well-being calls between 30 to 37 days after the child is placed with their sponsor. But in 40% of their cases in 2021, they either didn't document the call with the child's sponsor or they didn't even call altogether. And that's all according to the Office of Inspector General, who has
of unaccompanied children who have been released as sponsors since the Biden administration began. Some of my Republican colleagues have latched onto this headline to claim that the Biden administration, quote, lost these children. Let's start with the most important question. Are those children actually lost by the federal government?
Yeah, again, you're right, Congressman. That's the way it is framed. I want to be clear.
Can you explain why they're in fact not lost?
Yeah, first to be clear, we have not lost 85,000 kids. We make every effort, even after we lose the authority to continue to monitor the children, once we have discharged them and placed them with a vetted sponsor, we make an effort on our own dime, essentially, to try to reach out to them. We call what we do.
You know, it's funny now that I've watched him speak and watched a lot of his stuff, he's nervous. He's nervous. And he's a confident speaker. He's a litigator. He's done incredibly well, and he's nervous as all hell.
We call safety and well-being calls. We try to reach the child and the sponsor 3 times by phone to check in. The children and the sponsors are not obligated to return our call. We can't require them to do so. And by the way, even if they don't call back, that doesn't mean a child is lost.
What are some of the reasons a sponsor or child might not answer when HHS does follow up after release with a phone call?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What are the reasons a child or a sponsor might not answer when you follow up with a phone call?
They may be in school. They may be at a doctor's appointment.
They may be in a hotel having unspeakable things happen to them while being filmed.
They may not have the phone working anymore. There are any number of reasons why they don't answer. And by the way, we do other things in an attempt to try to contact them, including, as I've mentioned, some of these post-release services.
And can you discuss why the Office of Refugee Resettlement is not able to do more? For example, why does it not go to every sponsor's house in person to talk with each child after they're released?
Well, if we had the resources to do so, it would be far easier to have a program that really reaches as aggressively. But what we don't do is shortchange in the vetting process.
And what's concerning is, you know, you always have to beware of the quiet one in the room. And he has been the quiet Democrat candidate. But also with such a sterling reputation. And I'll admit, this didn't come to my attention until I was, you know, shamelessly promoting him. And someone who I do respect very much was like, hey, did you see any of this? And I had not. One, because the search doesn't come up with this, but this is deeply, deeply concerning.
Make sure that we follow best practices in the child welfare field when it comes to determining whether a child should be placed with a particular sponsor. Whether you're in foster care at the state level or whether you are protecting unaccompanied children in ORR, we use child welfare best practices.
Thank you. It seems like the only actual lost children are the 1,000 children that were separated from their parents by the Trump administration.
Instead of fixing the border, which is what we would have liked for the president to do, you pressured your staff to expedite the release of these children, prioritizing speed over due diligence. In fact, in a video and a Zoom call with your staff that I viewed, you actually said this, and I'm going to quote you. If Henry Ford had seen this in his plants, he would have never become famous and rich. Ooh. End quote. Now, you made that comment talking about how to assembly line process children that were coming into the country. And over due diligence, over safety, you prioritized speed and moving them on out. Now, the OIG, your HHS OIG, recently reported that your staff didn't make timely safety and well-being calls, if they made them at all. 22% were late.
And this article is from 2023. Durbin Padilla asked Secretary Becerra for answers regarding reports that warnings of threats to the safety and well-being of unaccompanied migrant children were dismissed. Senators seek information related to alleged whistleblower chilling by HHS against staff who reported concerns about the risk of labor exploitation and trafficking of unaccompanied children. U.S. Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin and U.S. Senator Alex Padilla, chair of the Subcommittee on Immigration, Citizenship, and Border Safety, sent a letter to the HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra requesting information. Rather than heeding these warnings, related to reports that HHS received warnings that unaccompanied children were being released from HHS custody into situations that presented a risk of labor exploitation. I can't even talk because it's so horrible. And trafficking. In the letter, the senator outlined their oversight responsibilities to protect these children's safety. As chairs of the Senate Committee on the Judiciary and Subcommittee on Immigration, Citizenship, and Border Safety, it is our responsibility to conduct oversight over implementation of the William Wilberforce Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act. Since I felt like an asshole earlier with my endorsement, I'd rather be an educated asshole. So then I started really looking at our Democratic candidates and realized I had absolutely forsaken Ramsey Robinson. I had absolutely not even looked into him, and it's because he's small. It's because he's a little guy. But does that mean that he's a bad thing? He is a school social worker, he's a socialist organizer, and he's a candidate for California Governor 2026.
On the edge of a cliff, and just one more unexpected expense, a trip to the ER, a flat tire, or one more layoff at work can push us into the abyss. This is the reality for working people in California. No matter how hard we work to give ourselves and our families a dignified life, it could all be taken away in an instant. But it doesn't have to be like this. California is a $4 trillion economy, the fourth largest economy in the world. But rather than use that wealth to provide housing and health care and a dignified life for all of us, the politicians tell us we're in a budget crisis. But we know the truth. We know there's enough money to meet all of our needs. Our vision is a socialist vision of California.
Well, and the thing of it is, he's right. And what I have been saying is we don't want those eternal politicians, and Becerra is that. He is clearly one of those people. So this is what Ramsey for governor says. California is the fourth largest economy in the world, so why can't working people afford rent, healthcare, or electricity? It doesn't have to be this way. So we're fighting for homes we can actually afford, free universal healthcare, guaranteed jobs for all, fully funded schools, and public power. Now, this is Mondami. This is the free daycare, the affordable housing, taking on landlords. How did I miss this guy? How did I miss this guy?
That is spent on war is a dollar stolen from our communities. We know that this is a deeply unpopular war, and we are not alone. And when we connect our struggles, there's nothing that can stop us. And it's when we get together like this, like we're doing today, like we've done since this war started, this is how we fight back.
And, so clearly he's not taking that deep pocket money. And what I'm finding is that this is a gentleman who is practicing what he preaches, and he's like AOC. He's one of us.
Trump's billionaire agenda to California, and it's going to take all of us to stop him. We are not going to allow him to repeal California's sanctuary state laws. We are not going to tolerate his transphobia, and we're not waiting for the primary to fight back. When 100,000 people shut down Minneapolis for 2 weeks in a row, Trump was forced to stop his ICE deployment. The people stopped Operation Metro Surge.
We're finding this more and more. And it was just like what Paul Lance said on my other video. Why aren't we doing the general strike? And why aren't we promoting that? This gentleman is doing exactly all the things that I've been wanting. And somehow I didn't see it because he is a little guy, because he is just like me. It's just like when I'm wondering, okay, I'm almost at 30,000 subscribers, but I've only gotten this. And the people that do watch its quality, it's that because I'm a little guy. But it doesn't matter. I'm not running for governor, but he is. And I think he's a bit more important than I ever thought. Now, Chad Bianco, that racist Republican, Oath Keeper, he's a career cop running for governor in lockstep with Trump's far-right agenda, and his hateful pro-ICE, pro-deportation, anti-LGBTQ stance represents the desire of the billionaires who back him up. This is the guy who's down with the Kavanaugh stop. He wants to make sure that we are all in line. And if you are not white and a man, you need to shut your mouth and get in the kitchen and have some babies, darling. He flat out said that he wishes it was back in the day when you could just take someone out back and kick the shit out of them. I'm sure he does that. I'm absolutely sure he does that.
Status quo the way it is, and we're saying no, man. We're done with the status quo. So I appreciate you saying that personally, man. We're not the problem. It's the system that's the problem.
Kind of just to add to the point, like the childcare, like my fiance and I, like again, we also have our master's degrees. The economy is different now, right? And we're talking about like having children, and it's just like also I have to do a lot of unlearning on my part because I come from like a family of six boys, right? It was like I feel like the you work hard to be able to provide for yourself and then your loved one. And then when you want to build a family, you're now in this position of like, oh, damn, like I still don't think I'm good enough. You know, I still don't think I have the means to provide adequate education, adequate healthcare, right? Because data shows, and this is something that caused me to postpone having children.
I lived in LA for 20 years. I lived just a few blocks away on Hoover and Adams. And all that time, all those 20 years that I lived in LA, I'm probably just like you, where I suffered, where I lived on the razor's edge, where there were months where I didn't even know if I could afford housing or healthcare. And there were many times that I had to pay for rent knowing that I wasn't going to have healthcare. So I'm so glad to be back in LA and spread this message by California for the people, not the billionaires. And with a permanent tax on these gurus, with a permanent tax on the billionaires that steal from us $7 billion in waste theft a year, it's time to get that back. And this is what we're saying. Come together, let's volunteer, let's work together to get to California where we have guaranteed housing, healthcare, education, a dignified retirement, and union jobs at $30 an hour.
Now, I'll be honest. I've been searching for my Mondami for California, to be our president, because that's what we need. But I realize Mondami is also Bernie Sanders, is also AOC when she's making sure that she's not giving money to Israel, which she did say that she would stop doing. It is Jasmine Crockett. It's James Tallarico. It is those Democrats.
A social media savvy Democratic socialist is on the cusp of becoming mayor of New York City. New York is not for sale. Mamdani won the Democratic primary promising free public transit, free daycare, more rent-subsidized housing, 200,000 more housing units, and city-owned grocery stores with lower prices than for-profit markets. New Yorkers know better than most that few things in life are free.
And what we have to take from that is those are the same thing that Robinson Ramsey wants to give to us, that the progressive Democrats say that we can't have. And what's funny, all the billionaires threatened to move out of out of New York because of Mondami, yet really not many of them have moved, not at all. And in California, the same thing's going to happen, but they do not want a Mondami. That is why we're not hearing about this man. And I feel badly because had I known, I would have been jumping his name from the beginning.
And it isn't something that should be dismissed. I mean, if there was a 12% chance of me getting in an accident driving over here, we'd be doing this by Zoom. There's no way I would get in the car. So and we have to be concerned in our lives about things that are small probabilities. And the Democratic Party should be concerned about this small probability that two Republicans make the runoff, because it could really politically decimate them for November, even so much as, impacting that Prop 50 result and the competitive congressional races that Republicans could win.
And here's the thing. If California makes the right choice and puts the right Democrat on the ticket, I believe that we can go as far as New York has gone, and possibly farther because we have a bit more money. But the bottom line is, how many people are living in their cars here, are barely able to put gas in it, are trying to find a job because the billionaires are trying to replace us with AI. And so I was very wrong. One, Eric Swalwell, I figured that out even before the rape allegation. There was just something very smug. Becerra, I'm a Latina, and from the stats that I saw, he did do some very good things, and I'm not trying to discount that. But 85,000 missing children is a big deal, especially if you're governor, and especially if you really can't account for them. I'm concerned. I'm deeply concerned about that. I'm going to end today by playing his entire campaign ad from start to finish, because I really feel like he says it all in it. Please subscribe to Substack. I'm having a lot of fun out here. Subscribe to YouTube. And there may be stuff on a podcast at some point, but please like, comment, and subscribe.
It can feel like you're on the edge of a cliff. And just one more unexpected expense, a trip to the ER, a flat tire, or one more layoff at work can push us into the abyss. This is the reality for working people in California. No matter how hard we work to give ourselves and our families a dignified life, it could all be taken away in an instant. But it doesn't have to be like this. California is a $4 trillion economy, the fourth largest economy in the world. But rather than use that wealth to provide housing and health care and a dignified life for all of us, the politicians tell us we're in a budget crisis. But we know the truth. We know there's enough money to meet all of our needs. Our vision is a socialist vision of California, which puts the needs of working people before the profits of billionaires. I'm Ramsey Robinson, and I'm running for governor of California because it's time the people of California build a California for us, not the billionaires. As a community organizer and a mental health social worker in Bayview, one of the last black and brown communities in San Francisco, I've seen, against all odds, how the working class adapts and survives. But we shouldn't have to scrape by. California has 186 billionaires, but 39 million of us. We're the ones that generate the wealth. The people of California should be calling the shots. We're sick and tired of both the Democrats and the Republicans who defend the corporations and the billionaires while we face poverty and eviction and displacement. With a $4 trillion economy, we could provide housing for everyone, fully fund public education, and expand Medi-Cal to be free and cover us all. We can guarantee dignified jobs with a living wage, provide free childcare, and defend immigrant rights in the face of deportations. And we can do it together. This is more than just a campaign. This is a movement of workers and students and families fighting for a California where the people of California have the power, and we plan the economy to meet all of our needs. Join us in a fight for a better future, a socialist future. Together we can end the rule of the billionaires, once and for all.
I'm going to try and get an interview with him.